Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Cover to Cover. You're here with Mo,
Andrea,
and Morgan.
And today we want to talk about books that are out and others that are on the horizon, lost and found book treasures, coloring and cosmic happenings, plus we have a fun top 10 video short for you at the end of the show, so stay tuned for that. But first, we want to talk about hitting the road, breaking down walls, and going on an adventure worth writing about.
Larry Campbell, an explorer and retired math professor, decided to take a 51-day adventure along the Missouri River. He was looking for adventure and beauty and a unique cultural experience, and that's exactly what he got. Campbell has chronicled his journey in a recently published coffee table book called Rollin' Down the River, discovering people and places along the mighty Missouri. So, what adventure would you guys take and write about if you could?
I feel like that's such a great question because I want to go everywhere, so the answer could be literally anything. But I have this really strong attachment to Big Bend National Park. It's in West Texas. It's literally kind of a second home. I've gone there every year for like the last 5 or 6 years with my husband, and we always find something new to do while we're there. So I think it'd be a really fun thing for me to write about.
That would be really cool. Yeah. I would definitely put your book on my coffee table.
Oh, thank you.
I think I would do something with the Northern Lights. I am so interested in seeing the Northern Lights, and there are so many different places to see them from. So Finland is like my top, but I think I'd want to go to like Finland and Canada and Scotland and see them all over and then get some really great shots.
Oh, that's a great idea. I really wanted to write about my adventures in Uganda when I lived there, but then my computer died and I didn't always have electricity and just ran out of time. So I really regret not doing that.
You could still do it.
You could still go back and do it. Yeah.
Reflections on your time in Uganda.
But I love the idea of this book because the Missouri River, I don't. At first, I was like, "Really?"
Doesn't sound interesting.
It doesn't really sound interesting, but I bet it is.
Yeah, because you can. Yeah, I like that. But you can get like really strong cultural, like interactions in the strangest places you would never think of. So it feels like, the Missouri River, like what's there, but probably a ton of stuff that we don't know about. So
very true.
We'll have to check that book out. And that book is definitely perfect for the reader who has wanderlust and loves culture. But for those who like a little gossip in their books, somebody, James Comey, has made a book deal.
Ooh, wow.
Former FBI director James Comey is working on an untitled project slated for publication next spring. His book will chronicle leadership and decision-making during his career and cover the details of the investigations he was working on leading up to his recent firing by President Donald Trump. While we are unsure of all of the details that will be included, those looking to get another perspective on the controversial firing will be lining up to read. Have you guys ever read any political biographies?
I have not. It's always been a hard pass for me. It's just not my thing.
I've read some that's like Lincoln on leadership, books like that. But there's an author named Donald Phillips who writes all these books on leadership and political leaders from the past. There's Martin Luther King on leadership. Those are very good books.
Yeah, that's the direction I think I would go. Because I love history, but I think like the recent politicians wouldn't interest me.
I just think it all sounds so boring.
Well, I just really like super interesting. Like say it was like Margaret Thatcher or someone.
I would definitely learn a lot, and it would be good for me. But I just don't think it's gonna happen.
So I think they need to write it as a fiction book.
Historical fiction. I'll read it all day. Give me a storyline.
Guys, so let us know in the comments. Do you read these books? We assume that most of you watching are reading fiction, so let us know and let us know some of your favorites so we can add them to our list.
Good crossover to historical fiction, give those recommendations for me. Okay, so still in the vein of getting the scoop, but on the complete other end of that spectrum, is a new memoir that's out called The Hot One that a lot of people are really anxious to read about.
The Hot One is written by Carolyn Mernick, who was friends with Ashley Ellerin, who was murdered in 2001. The book chronicles the two girls' young friendship and the way they grew up together and eventually grew apart. It will cover Ashley's personal life and career and the events that led to her tragic death, as well as the trial and the hearings of Ashley's alleged killer.
Wow. So that book sounds really intense and also so intriguing. And I hate to say, like, it's such a hot topic because it's the death of a woman.
Yeah.
But people really love true crime. True crime is a really popular genre, and this one sounds especially intriguing, don't you think?
Yeah, and I mean, she is linked to Ashton Kutcher. They were maybe dating, I think, at the time.
Yeah.
So he's definitely involved in some of the trial. I mean, he's not on trial or anything,
but he was a part of it. Yeah, so you have like the celebrity factor, and then you also have that she was kind of this it girl factor. Plus she had an illicit past, which kind of gained her some bad labels, which made people less sensitive to her murder.
And I think that's so crazy. I love the direction that this book is going because, like you said, you know, people tend to dehumanize folks, you know, in different industries. And I'm actually reading another book right now called The Love I Never Knew, and it's about this girl she's trying to make it. She, you know, her mom like overdosed and died, and her dad was just a terrible person, and so she's like growing up, she never knew love, and so she got into the sex industry, and she was raped multiple times, and in the book the authorities never took her seriously because of her line of work, and that is so sad.
Labels are really prevalent in the title as well, the hot one. The author wrote the book and titled it that because when they were younger friends, her friend Ashley was labeled the hot one and she was labeled like the nerdy one. And so there's this sense of labels that like we can't get away from, and they cloud everything.
There's a message in there that people will live into the labels that you give them.
Yeah.
The messages that you communicate to them, people will actually live into that. Or the messages you tell yourself. So if you tell yourself that you are the dumb one,
you'll be the dumb one.
You will be the dumb one. Or if you tell yourself that you're not worth anything, you'll live that. I mean,
I don't understand how a label can take away from a brutal murder or a rape or something like so serious, you know?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, guys, let us know in the comments if you're interested in reading this book and learning about this case, because we sure are. I mean, it mixes in so many things in one book. It just, I hate to say it sounds amazing because it's a true story and it's heartbreaking, but I can't wait to read it. And also, let us know if you have any other suggestions for true crime books, books that we should put on our TBR list. Well, ladies, right now, we're going to take a quick break. But when we get back, we're going to discuss lost and found treasures, coloring books, literary figures who have passed on, other cosmic happenings, and we have a video short with a top 10 to tie you over for the weekend. So we'll see you in a minute.
Do you guys ever start spring cleaning and accidentally throw out something that you love or really wanted to keep, only to find out later and beat yourself up over it? Well, we have got a near miss of a similar situation, only this one would have been really bad.
John Marks often volunteers for his local library in Providence, Rhode Island, and he will help sort through donations and price, list, and set up for vintage book sales and such that they have. He was sorting one day and he came across a 5-volume set of the Torah called The Law of God. The books were dated to somewhere around 1845, and he looked at the price tag that had been listed and it had them at $100. Luckily, they hadn't sold, and Marks had the idea to do some more digging. He was able to earn the library a bit more money on the set when it later sold at the Sotheby's auction in New York for $3,750. That's what you call a near-miss situation.
I really like this story because it reminds me of the Antiques Roadshow, which is a show that I totally love. Have you guys ever seen that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't.
Oh, really?
No.
So it's like people go through their attics, or they find just underneath something or in a pile of junk this really like intense artifact that's worth either a lot of money or has like a lot of cultural and historical value. But usually it's worth a lot of money. And that's the ones they put on the show. They're like, oh, I found this old coffee mug in my dad's chest. And they're like, oh, it's from the 13th century Victoria, England. It's worth $7,000. And they're like, I got 12 of them. So that's cool when it happens with books. And I think that's really exciting for this guy because I bet his library is so happy with him.
Yeah. I guess someone just donated it not knowing how old it was,
Right?
or
Yeah.
the value of it, which is crazy.
I think it happens both ways. You know, I mean, my family, we've moved a lot. My parents together have lived in like 20 different homes, and my brother and I, you know, it's so many. And so in moving, we just like always have to, you know, shuffle things around. And so we give stuff away and then realize later on, we're like, oh, no.
Yeah.
Why did we give that away?
It's the worst.
Yeah, it is the worst. But then you turn around and like you go with your friends and your family to like garage sales, and then you find that little thing. Like my
find
grandma
a treasure.
found some like really nice Swarovski like vase, and I don't think that people knew like what they had, and she, you know, looked it up later on and realized how much it was worth and was like, what?
That's awesome.
So I mean, it works both ways.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, some people who definitely don't care about spring cleaning or what gets thrown out are kids. Kids are getting engaged in literature more and more through picture book stories and with the promise of crafts.
Wednesday, August 2nd was National Coloring Book Day, and libraries were drawing kids in with the promises of fun crafts and coloring galore. We saw a lot of really cute photos on the internet of these happenings, and we hope you guys were able to participate in any of the events in your area. And guys, this is why libraries are so great. They're always giving you something to do as a family.
I agree. I don't go to as many library events as I would like to, but I feel like there's always something going on, right? They just constantly have a revolving calendar of fun things to do. Have you guys done any fun stuff at our library? Spoiler, I haven't really.
Well, I have a really cool library we go to because there's splash pads outside.
What?
Yes, it just happens to be in a shopping center. So there's splash pads, there's chairs. It is
cool.
a really nice environment to take the kids and have lots of things to
sounds
do,
awesome.
and then walk down the street and get some coffee or ice cream or gelato or food or whatever. It is just a really great environment, which I could see as a great place to take kids when they have their programming and then there's other things to do without getting in the car and going somewhere else.
Yeah, so definitely check that kind of stuff out. If you live in the Austin, Texas area, I actually have a friend that's a librarian, and she's a part of a really fun band called Echo and the Bats. And basically what they do is they take fairy tales and they turn them into folk songs, and they play them for the kids, and it's so fun.
wow.
So if you guys live in Austin, Texas, check that out. But if you live anywhere, check out all the fun stuff that's going on.
So they do that in libraries here?
Yeah, so because she's a children's librarian, and so they'll host like events and stuff.
Oh,
like,
that's
for
cute.
So fun. I loved going to readings as kids and all the different events. That's
So
awesome.
fun. And you know what else? Something that's almost as much fun as coloring is cooking if you're an adult. And this week, sadly, we lost a great spirit in the cookbook and cooking realm. Judith Jones has died.
Oh.
Jones was the editor of Literature and Culinary Delight and has had an extensive career shaping the way America thinks about cooking and is leaving behind quite a legacy. Among her amazing writings, she spent her life discovering other stars, such as Julia Child. A little-known story that got her career started was her discovery of the novel The Diary of Anne Frank.
Wow.
As a young editorial assistant, she rescued the book from a pile of rejects at her office in France and convinced her superiors that they should publish it in the U.S.
Guys, are you serious?
Yeah.
That's
crazy, is that right?
That is a crazy story. Rescued it from France, published in the U.S.
It's one of those stories that if you're a writer, gives you hope that even books as great as The Diary of Anne Frank were thought to be not as good until like one person gave that book life.
And
right?
now
Yeah.
pretty much every kid reads that book, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's required reading everywhere. So that's crazy.
And she just discovered it. It was this like little package delivered.
Okay, and can we talk about how she just discovered Julia Child?
Right? That's crazy. That's such a good find, and also has shaped so much of the cooking industry. I mean, Julia Child changed things for
Those
sure.
could have been near-miss situations, y'all.
Yeah, so we thank her for that, and she will be missed. And Judith Jones might attribute those successes to being in the right place at the right time because she was very humble. But one might think of her successes as cosmic happenings, right? She was just destined to succeed. And another artist who's catching our eye for thinking cosmically as well is artist Nicolas Raju.
Raju has been working on a series of posters that envision the first lines of novel chapters as constellations. The individual words come together to form the sentence and an accompanying constellation. It's a very far out way to look at literature. So what do you guys think about that?
I think they're so cool. I feel like this is just one more way to display in your home like your love of literature and your favorite book. So it's really cool. They string all the sentences together and they do, and it's just like this backdrop of like space. So it's really pretty, and it would make like a really good gift for the literary lover in your life.
I'm going to have to add that into like my coffee table book.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to work with him with my, Northern Lights coffee table book. Yes. That's awesome.
You should.
Yeah, love it. Man, I think I'm going to order one myself. Right? Hang it up on my wall. Well, we want to leave you guys with some food for thought for the weekend. With so much on your plate to read, we thought we'll give you some more. So, there are a lot of movie adaptations coming out at the end of this year. So, we want to offer you our top 10 books to read before you go see them in the movies. So, enjoy.
These are the top 10 books to read before their movie adaptations come out this year. Number 1. Murder on the Orient Express. This Agatha Christie classic lives on since its first publication in 1934. It's a classic detective story that keeps you guessing until the end. Director Kenneth Branagh has taken on the film and is leading it with a star-studded cast including himself, Johnny Depp, and Michelle Pfeiffer. It comes out on November 10th, so start reading now!
Number 2, The Dark Tower by Stephen King. Stephen King is no stranger to his books being adapted to the screen, and people are anxious to see how this latest adaptation turns out. The Dark Tower is a story that crosses genres and time, mixing westerns with sci-fi fantasy. It is being brought to the screen with heavy-hitting stars such as Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey. It's out this week, so be sure to read quickly.
Number 3, The Mountain Between Us. It's a romance disaster novel written by Charles Martin that chronicles the story of two people who survived a plane crash and are struggling to survive in the snow-filled wilderness. It's being brought to the screen with performances by Kate Winslet and Idris Elba, and it comes out October 6, 2017.
Number 4, The Snowman. This is a detective crime novel from Norway that packs lots of intrigue and suspense. The movie adaptation will star Michael Fassbender and comes out October 20th. It's part of a series, so fill your TBR list now.
Number 5, The Rebel in the Rye. This movie is based on the book J.D. Salinger, A Life, and chronicles a young J.D. Salinger in his life during World War II. The film is highly anticipated and has an all-star cast led by Nicholas Hoult as Salinger himself. Comes out on September 15th.
Number 6, Thank You for Your Service. This is an upcoming movie that was adapted from a non-fiction book of the same name written by David Finkel. It tackles the difficulties that soldiers feel when coming back to civilian life after being overseas with the war in Iraq. It confronts PTSD and many other issues. It's sure to be a tearjerker, so grab your copy of the book and some tissues before the movie comes out on October 27th.
Number 7, The Man Who Invented Christmas. This is a film that's coming out November 3rd, and it's adapted from the book The Man Who Invented Christmas, How Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol rescued his career and revived our holiday spirits. It tells the interesting story of how Charles Dickens invented Scrooge and single-handedly redefined our holidays. Get in the Christmas spirit with this future classic.
And at number 8, Same Kind of Different as Me. This is a movie adaptation from a book of the same name. The secondary title is A Modern-Day Slave, an International Art Dealer, and the Unlikely Woman Who Bound Them Together. So it's most definitely an interweaving storyline. This movie comes out on October 20th and has an all-star cast.
Number 9, Let It Snow. This is a John Green novel that covers 3 separate and interweaving storylines. With lots of romance and holiday cheer, it is sure to be a holiday favorite. The movie has been in production for quite some time, but it should be out by December, so gear up for the holiday season now.
And at number 10, Molly's Game. From Hollywood elite to Wall Street's billionaire boys club, my high-stakes adventure in the world of underground poker is an intense book detailing how Molly Bloom upped the ante in underground poker, channeling excess, danger, glamour, and greed. The movie adaptation, called Molly's Game, comes out on November 22nd and stars Jessica Chastain. So there you guys have it. Those are the top 10 books to read before their movie adaptations come out this year.
Well, guys, let us know in the comments what you thought of those and which one you're going to put in your to-be-read list. Also, let us know what you're reading this weekend. We would love to know. Guys,
Yeah,
you reading anything exciting this weekend?
I am working on Philip K. Dick's Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, which is a pretty quick, short read, but that's what's happening for me, and it's intense sci-fi.
Wow.
Yeah.
I am wanting to read The Women in the Castle Castle. So I'm still working on like 2 other books that I've been working on for a while, so I'm hoping to get through those and then start that book this weekend.
And you?
I'm a very slow reader, so I'm still reading The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Hope to finish that. It's really good. It's just that during the week I have a hard time picking it up. And I'm reading.
Also still reading Outlander, so you're
I'm
fine.
still reading American Gods.
I was a little embarrassed to say that because I've talked about it for weeks.
That's life.
But okay, sorry guys.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, anyway, share this post and send us a message and let us know that you shared it, and we will send you a free t-shirt. We have V-neck and crew neck options, so when you message us, send us your name, your style, your size, and your address, and we will get that out to you.
Yes, and thank you guys so much for joining us today. We hope you have a great weekend. I'm Mo.
I'm Andrea.
And I'm Morgan.
And we will be back on Monday, August 7th at 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Central Time. So until then, keep reading, writing, and being awesome.
I know we will.
Bye.